Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Sparkly here with a new video for you. Welcome to Season 3, Part 4 of What If Izuku was Majin? I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So, we begin. All the students finished their physical exams and passed, with a few not failing. Some were rightfully upset about failing a test, but Bakugo took the cake for being the most upset. However, one trial was left. The battle between Izuku, Mina, and Vomi. Izuku and Mina stood before the gate, stretching or relaxing before the test began. Mina did stretches with a big smile, concentrating on Vomi's energy and location. I can't believe we're going to face off against Aunt Vomi, Mina chuckled. It's insane, but at least we're not fighting against someone crazy strong like All Might. Izuku broke out of his concentration and responded to Mina's statement. You're right. It is crazy that we're fighting against her, Izuku answered. Izuku fixes up his clothes and eats one of his sweets. Izuku was nervous about facing his aunt, but it was the only logical reason. If Izuku were put against the other teachers, it wouldn't give the duo any experience or a challenge. Izuku looked back towards Mina and gave her a quick review. She may not be as strong as All Might, but she is one of the smartest people we know. Along with her Buu abilities in acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses, she is the one opponent that we should avoid at all costs if we have any chance to pass. The speaker begins to turn on as the duo looks up at it. The automatic voice begins to speak the duo's name and to start their test. Team Midori and Ashido may begin the test. Izuku and Mina looked at each other, nodding before running towards the city. Vomi concentrated on the energies of the two from the top of a building. Let's see how far they've come, Vomi thought. Vomi jumped off of the building and started to run towards the young heroes. Back with Izuku and Mina running as fast as they could, trying to avoid Vomi. The duo kept looking to the sides and behind them, ensuring that Vomi didn't sneak attack them. Mina looked at Izuku and asked, What's the plan? Mina questioned. The plan is, if we encounter her, we should try our best to distract her and have one of us run towards the gate, Izuku stated. Blast and run! Got it! Mina screamed. Izuku and Mina kept running through the city, searching for the exit gate and an eye out for Vomi. They kept searching until they saw the gate within their sight. Mina shouted in a joy that they were about to make it, but Izuku knew what would happen next. And Izuku was right. A pink blast was coming straight at them. Izuku jumped in front of Mina and smacked the blast away from them. Izuku and Mina watched Vomi slowly walk towards the duel, already in her Buu form. Vomi kept a straight face as she examined the two thoroughly. Izuku and Mina entered defensive positions and readied themselves to run or attack her. Greetings, heroes, Vomi said. I see that you are avoiding me. I have to say that it is good thinking. But you should know that a villain like me won't allow that. Vomi was about to continue speaking when an energy blast came at her. Vomi fired another energy to counter it. The energy blasts hit each other and caused a massive cloud of smoke to consume everyone's vision. Mina, run now! Izuku screamed at Mina. Mina summoned One For All, full Kali, and dashed past Izuku and Vomi. Izuku cupped his hands together as a ball of energy appeared in between. Vomi just stood there watching Mina make her way towards the goal, and Izuku was about to fire the blast. Destruction wait! Before Izuku could fire the blast, Vomi appeared before Izuku and delivered a high-heeled KI slash directly into Izuku's stomach. Vomi's kick sent Izuku flying back into a building. Vomi saw the huge hole she created with Izuku, hoping that it didn't damage him much, even though his body was stretchy. Mina heard the crash and decided to see what had happened. She turned her head to see Vomi jumping high into the air, holding her finger behind her head with a bit of KI shining on it. Mina tried to use more One For All without breaking her body, but she wasn't fast enough for Vomi's attack. Vomi quickly swiped her finger across the area. The KI from her finger created a large blast radius that consumed the gate and Mina. Sorry, but I won't allow that, heroes, Vomi said. Vomi looked at the damage she had caused and concentrated on her energies, ensuring that they were still alive. I hope they're okay, Vomi thought. Vomi worriedly thought about her students and wondered if she had gone overboard. But her worries were soon gone as she felt something coming at her. Vomi looked around at the cloud of smoke to see pink lightning coming out of it. Within seconds, Mina came jumping out of the smoke and at Vomi with her hands covered in her acid. Vomi put her hands up in defense as Mina threw a punch. The punch didn't send Vomi flying, but it pushed her back and damaged her arms due to the acid being more corrosive. Vomi noticed that Mina tried to hold her smile, but she could tell she was in pain. I only have a few minutes to use both acid and one for all before my body breaks down, or my skin and bones will start to melt off. So that means. Mina thought to herself. Mina jumped straight at Vomi and delivered a kick directly to her head. Vomi put her arms out as quickly as she could, able to block the attack, but yelped in pain due to Mina's corrosive acid. Mina knew if she made her acid more corrosive, she would be able to deal more damage to the enemy. But it turns out she would be damaging herself in the process. So Mina limits how long she can see her body before it starts to burn her. If you won't let me leave, then I'll just have to stop you, Mina confidently stated. Vomi smiled at Mina's confidence and decided to put it back down. Vomi looked down at her arms and saw significant burn marks, knowing that she should watch out for her acid. Vomi fired multiple energy blasts at Mina, deciding that keeping a distance from Mina's acid was the best decision. Mina could easily dodge the blasts with ease thanks to her athletic body. Mina jumped from side to side, avoiding the explosions as she inched closer towards Vomi. Vomi noticed that Mina edged the closet towards her and decided to fire another high-heeled KI slash directly at Mina. The energy from her heel turned into a slash. Mina slid underneath the slash and flicked at Vomi. Vomi dodged the condensed air flick and delivered a kick at Mina. Izuku pushed himself out of the rubble from the destroyed building and towards the open hole in the wall. Izuku saw Mina and Vomi fighting each other. Mina was able to defend herself, even being able to damage her too. Yet, Vomi was stronger than Mina because Mina used only 5% of One for All. But Vomi still had more skill in using her abilities than Mina. Izuku looked at the gate and saw the time left for the test. There are only 5 minutes left, and we're near the gate. So, it's time to separate, Izuku said. Izuku put his hands on the side of his stomach, ripped pieces of him, and threw them on the ground. The two lumps moved towards each other, lurking into one giant lump, and started to shape and morph into a clone of Izuku. The clone looked back at the real Izuku, then towards the fight. The real Izuku told the clone to follow him and not to kill anyone. The clone nodded and jumped into action. Vomi kicked Mina away as she sensed two energies running towards her. She looked back to see two Izukus coming straight at her. Vomi jumped into the air, dodging the two charging at her. Although Vomi was running out of energy, she tried her best to keep the two from escaping from her. Vomi fired an energy beam at the Izukus, pushing them towards Mina. Izuku, Mina, and the clone looked back at the gate's time, and saw only 1 minute left. Izuku and Mina gave each other a nod before charging at Vomi. Mina screamed for Izuku to provide her with a boost in the air. Izuku said that her body was damaged to the point where she should run to the exit, but Mina told him to do it as she had something planned. Izuku reluctantly agreed with Mina's plan. He cupped his hands together, and then Mina jumped high enough to land on top of Izuku's hand, giving Izuku a chance to launch Mina into the air. She looked down to see everyone on the ground, still charging at each other. As Mina descended to the earth, she started to coat her arms, legs, body, and face. It began as a simple cover over her body, but Mina started to add more slime to it. On the ground, the two Izukus fired multiple energy blasts at Vomi, hoping it would blind her and give them time to attack. Vomi smacked the blast away from her, firing one of her own at them. The Izukus jumped out of the way as the blast created a field of smoke. Vomi knew it was only a distraction and chose to follow the original Izuku. She points her hand towards him and is ready to fire, but stops whenever she hears someone crying and something from above. Vomi looked up and noticed something slimy, blobbly, and human-shaped coming towards her. Vomi jumped back as the slime creature landed in front of her. One for all, Acid Man! Mina cried out. Mina landed on the ground with her entire body covered in acid, with two little eyes on top of her head. Mina punched Vomi, causing her to put her hands up to block the attack, which was a bad idea. Mina's acid was more corrosive than ever before and burned through Vomi's and Mina's skin. Vomi fell back in pain as she let out a cry of pain as Mina jumped back from her. She was confused why Mina was jumping back, but if she could cause damage, she could quickly stop and make it to the gate or even capture her there. Before she could attack back, a voice from behind her shouted, "Destruction Wave!" Clone Izuku screamed out as he launched the beam directly at Vomi. Vomi fired a beam of her own directly back at the clone. The beams clashed, creating a giant explosion that consumed the battlefield. The duo saw this as their chance to run. Mina and Izuku quickly ran towards the gate and made it through at the last second. The winner of the match is Izuku and Mina. Mina collapsed on the ground, trying to catch her breath and see if she could feel anything in her body. Vomi was still in the city, lying on the ground, trying to catch her breath. The clone Izuku walked towards the injured Vomi, reaching out its hand to pick her up. Vomi smiled as she grabbed the clone's hand, but the clone didn't pull her up and instead gave her an ear-to-ear smile at her. Vomi's heart sank when she saw that smile. She tried to get up, but didn't have enough energy to move or attack. This gave the clone its time to attack Vomi. The clone's body shook violently, then exploded in a pile of goo and surrounded the shocked Vomi. Izuku and Mina looked back to see the lump of clone Izuku's charging at him. The clumps went back into Izuku, and that was it. Izuku was confused why they just charged at him instead. That's when something was off. Vomi was gone. Izuku knew that Vomi was tired after fighting against two of him and Mina. She didn't have enough energy to get up and walk away quickly. Then suddenly, Izuku felt a massive surge of power flowing through him. And with that sudden surge of power, Izuku knew what had happened. Vomi was absorbed. Vomi woke up and felt wholly healed and energized. She pushed herself up and looked around to get aware of her surroundings. She noticed that everything was pink, with multiple holes stretching out for miles. What the? Vomi questions. She looked around a bit more before thinking back into a conversation. She remembers what Izuku had talked about in the pink caves inside of him and how they had energies coming from them. If these are the caves Izuku talked about, then that means... Vomi closed her eyes and concentrated on sensing the energies around her, only taking her a few seconds before finding the energy's signature deep inside the caves. Vomi enters the caves and sees what exactly happens to the people they eat. It took some time, but Vomi made it to the area Izuku talked about. The site was filled with the cocoons of the people that she turned into candy. She felt uneasy as she looked at them, knowing that they did this to keep the monster at bay. She kept walking around, looking and studying the cocoons. They were all the same people she had turned into candy until she reached a certain one. This one had a chubby pink man that she doesn't remember turning into candy. Vomi reached out her hand to the cocoon, wondering if the man would wake up when someone screamed out. "Stay away from him!" Izuku screamed. Vomi stopped in her tracks and turned around immediately as she heard the scream. She was shocked to see the monster again, but he was sweating a lot with a worried expression this time. Izuku tried to keep Vomi away from the chubby pink man's cocoon, but Vomi just stood there, watching the monster freaking out and screaming. Although Vomi wasn't afraid of the beast, since it was freaking out, she was still nervous about doing anything towards him. But she worked up the nerve and inched towards the monster. "What makes this guy so special that I shouldn't be near, you monster?" Vomi stated. "If you remove that fool from his cocoon, then you'll awaken an evil your mortal mind can't comprehend, and the destruction of your world will be on your head!" Izuku cried out. Vomi looked back to the chubby pink man, still confused about who this person was and how he got in. Izuku didn't know that Vomi was looking at him, but he thought she would release him. "If you're going to remove him, then the only way to stop you is to absorb you!" Izuku screamed out. The floor beneath Vomi started to morph around her and surrounded her, just like the clone did to her. She threw an energy blast at one of the tendrils, creating a hole for her to escape and run away. Izuku cried out that she won't make it out of there. The entire cave started to move and shaped its way around her. Vomi kept running and blasting her way through, hoping she wouldn't get absorbed like the villains. She looked back to see Izuku gaining distance from her. Vomi worried that she wouldn't make it out alive and become a source of power until she saw a hole with a light at the end. She smiled and jumped out of the caves, hearing the monster screaming angrily. Once out, Vomi was surrounded by a puff of pink smoke and returned to her normal size. She looked around to find herself in Recovery Girl's room. Before asking herself how she got here, Izuku immediately hugged Vomi. Izuku said he was worried she was absorbed and put into one of those cocoons. Vomi was still processing everything that had happened, but she hugged Izuku back. In an undisclosed location, the body of Jiro was lying next to the disembodiment of 16 in an open chest cell. A lanky creature covered in the enemy's blood slowly walked towards the screen as it spooked. It looked up to see a picture of Izuku attacking the heroes. The creature smiled, then laughed loudly as the room's light brightened from the screen, revealing the creature's proper form.
These heroes are weak. Nobody can defeat Boo. Boo is the strongest of them all.
Skinny Boo laughed out loud. He looked like the chubby pink man from the Pink Caves, but he was taller and looked grayer. It kept laughing as the screen went from hero to hero before landing on Izuku.
But I need to be complete. I need them.
Thank you all for indulging yourself in this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials have you covered. We the Celestials My Hero Academia and What If channels retell the story of their namesake animes with a twist. Check them out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of the We the Celestials team, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interests by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for new members to join us. Well, that's it for today's video, so thank you all so much for watching.